My name is Josie, and this is my home energy audit for my DSARI. It's a little background on my room. It is a dorm room located in Middlebrook with around 900 rooms. There's lounges on each floor and a dining hall, so there's a good amount of energy being used. My room specifically is 192 square feet, and it is shared with one roommate. The average annual energy use for a dorm is about 18.9 kilowatt hours per square foot, which if you multiply that by the square feet of my room, that would be 3,828.8 kilowatt hours specifically for my room. This is equivalent to the GHG emissions from a car that has driven over 156,000 miles. The typical energy use in a dorm is mostly from lighting, heating, and cooling, but some other uses are electronics, appliances, and charging equipment. So for the devices I chose for this, I chose these as following. This is the average electricity use for each of them. Laptop is about 30 to 70 watts per hour. Phone charger is 5 watts. Microwave 600 to 2,000. Mini fridge 75. And you can see the rest here. Now for my daily log, I wrote it down in a notebook, tracking how much time I used each device. And the most used devices were the chargers. So my laptop charger and my phone charger. I had those plugged in almost every night. Definitely my phone charger, so that one shows the most use. Whereas the microwave, not as much. Same with the hair dryer, because I don't use those every day. The overhead light also took a lot of energy because my roommate likes to have it on. So that was on 4 out of the 7 days for a long period of time. Now for my energy measurements. Here are pictures of each device of the kilowatt hours and the watts. For the light, it doesn't have a light bulb, so I couldn't measure or take a picture of the wattage, so it's just 20 watts. For the calculations for the constant power device, I decided to use the fan, and that total was 17.2 watts for the energy use. And then I divided that by the average time it was used per day, which is 2.72 hours, and then added the wattage of the time of when it was off, and I got 46.784 kilowatt hours. With a variable power device, I used the mini fridge. That one I took the kilowatt hours that it showed me, divided by the time it was on, which was 6.83 hours, and from that I got 60.3 watts. For the cycle device, I used a microwave, since it only runs for the amount of time I have it on, and it gave me 0.044 kilowatt hours per cycle, and I multiplied that by 2 divided by 7 since I only used it 2 days this week, and I got 0.013 kilowatt hours per day. For the light, it's 20 watts since I didn't have the actual light bulb, and I multiplied that by how much time it was used on average per day, which is 5.57, and I got 0.111 kilowatt hours. Here is a table of my calculations, which you can see like how much it was on and off, and then the total kilowatt hours per day and per month. And the complete total came out to 1.507 kilowatt hours per day and 45.19 kilowatt hours per month. What I learned from this was that the biggest energy uses in my dorm were the fan and the hair dryer, from what I measured. And comparing my measurements to the average from which I found in the beginning, they're pretty close. Some are a bit off, but on average they are very close. Also, my energy use per month is 45.19 kilowatt hours, but the average for a dorm my size is almost 4,000 kilowatt hours. So this shows that there are some things not being measured, like which I couldn't measure, which are the heater, like air conditioning. And to save energy, the major thing I can do is leave my laptop unplugged overnight, when I don't need it right away in the morning. That would reduce the wattage from 13.39 to 3.75, which would be 9.64, and I'd be saving that much every day I don't plug it in during the night. Here are my resources, and thank you so much for listening.